core balance and mobility. This is an intermediate level workout and workout number 3 of that series. Let us begin with a narrow stance hip hinge. 8 repetitions of most of these exercises, and on rounding my back, I'm keeping it neutral. I would say the average person may even be able to get further than I can. That's especially tight for me. I know a lot of other men are tight there. Standing wide stance, back bend. So take the wide stance. I'll show you from this angle actually. And then I'm just going to do a back bend. I'm going to fully extend my hips. Have a slight bend in my knee. I have to brace my abdominals to keep my lumbar spine neutral, not letting myself get rounded there, and then just letting my neck roll back as well. That's going to be a 15-second hold. It really opens up your front side here. Neck resistance exercises are next. I'll do 4 different kinds, and I'll do them for about a 5-second hold each one. So I'm just going to take my hands, put them on my head, and then I'm going to push my head against my hands for 5 seconds. So I do it from the one side, then I come from behind. Make sure your chin is tucked for all of these. You're not going to do it with your chin stuck out here and add load to that. You want to first get yourself in the proper neck posture, which would be here, tucked back, and then add the resistance. And then from the front. It also kind of works your shoulders too. Standing hugs. And just give yourself a hug. Wrap around as far as you can. You can split the time of this exercise with both arms, switching which arm is on top, and just letting your shoulder blades open up. So much in this program will be closing down. This is an opportunity for us to let our shoulder blades open up and stretch them out. Split stance calf stretch. Take a split stance. And bring my back foot back to a position just as far as I can while still being able to get my heel down on the ground, and then I'm feeling the stretch in my calf and my Achilles tendon in my back leg. 15 seconds each side. Also very important to make sure that your toe is pointing straight ahead. People will tend to do this stretch like this. Then they'll be getting the inner part of their calf and not the outer part, and it's the outer part that generally will get too tight and you'll have problems with. Arm swings 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so we can do first crossing the body here. We can do 8 of each of these. We can have a quick tempo when we do them. Next one, it's like an exaggerated running mechanic. Or you can also think of it as like just rotating your arm as far overhead as you can on one side and then swinging it back as far as you can on the other side. And then the other one are some your V's. So you're just going to swing your arm up overhead, basically the same thing, but this time both arms are going together. 8 repetitions each. Next, you've got trunk twists. Take a wide stance for this. You're going to be transferring your weight from side to side, and you're going to be adding a twist. And so your feet, your hips, your shoulders, and your head are going to turn from side to side. And the last thing to think about is to sink down low. Bend the knees, hips, and ankles a little bit to drop your center of mass. And then I'm going from right to left, right to left. It's almost like I can think I'm about, it's like a baseball swing. Get your coordination here and release. This is what I'm talking about as far as balance. It's more than just standing on one leg, though we will do that. It's also your ability to transfer your weight gracefully. It's a very not commonly thought of maybe as balance, but as far as how I see it, that's definitely a balance exercise. Okay, for the next couple, it may help to come closer to the wall. We'll first do some standing plantar flexion stretches. So I can just lean it up against the wall, and then I'm going to stick. It's almost like I'm doing the calf stretch again, but it's instead of stretching the back of my ankle, I'm going to now stretch the front of my ankle. So I'll put the top of the foot down on the ground in a pointed toe position, plantar flexion. And I'll give it 15 seconds. Stretching out the top of the foot, top of the ankle, also your toes, you're going to get a bit of a stretch on that one. Wide and narrow squats, 8 repetitions each. So yeah, I'll do from an extra wide stance where maybe I'm going like double hip width with my heels down. I'll start with these and now use the wall for assistance as needed. You may also put your hands on a table or something for assistance, but if you can do this without any assistance at all, just in place, that's great too. Just make sure, this is what you're looking to do. Keep your heels down, keep your knees from caving in, and keep your torso in a neutral spinal alignment. And you can think of it in 3 parts, and watch the angle of my torso. So the first part, I'm going to be standing tall. The second part, I'm going to hinge at the hips. And you can see what happened. My hips went back, my shoulders came forward, my torso is now angled, but it's neutral. I'm not rounding it. It's in neutral position. And then the third part is to bend the knees and drop the hips down as low as you can while keeping those cues. Yeah, keeping the heels down and keeping the knees wide and standing up from there. If you're working on your mobility in the squat, I recommend just going slow down into it. Feel that you can keep your posture at all points in the motion. And then once you start to open up, then you can add some speed to it. Now I'll do the same thing from a narrow position. So this just works your legs and slightly, depending on what width you have in your stance, you're going to be working your hips. It really work the inner thighs to take the wide stance, but now with the feet together, it's really going to challenge your ankle mobility. So really try to keep those heels down. Just go as far as you can while keeping the heels down. Go slow at first. You gotta wake them up. And just go as far as you can. I have medium mobility, and this is something you'll have to work up to, especially that one. That one's tough. Tough on the ankles. One leg balance in front with circles. Use the wall for balance as needed. But we're going to try to stay strong through the down leg. Lean the shoulders back slightly and then point the toe in front. From here, you're going to try to draw a little circle. Trying to be very precise. Make every circle look the same. I think the sheet says 15 seconds each side. That's probably about 15 seconds. So spend about 7 seconds going one direction, and then you can reverse it. Good. Standing W pulls are next. And I guess I want these against the wall. So you're going to have your heels, your hips, your shoulder blades, and your head back against the wall. And then you're going to pull your arms back so that they're touching the wall in this sort of W shape, where your elbows are right below your shoulders, and you're trying to get your elbows and your wrists back flat against the wall. So you'll do repetitions of it. Squeeze and release. Squeeze and release. The action of the shoulder blades, the squeezing of the shoulder blades is what's going to make this motion happen. And if your chest is tight, then this is going to be extra hard, but this is something we can do to try to, that's our goal. We got to get back into that position. Standing front kicks are next. So I'm just going to kick, 2, 3, 4, kick, 2, 3, 4, kick, 2, 3, 4, kick, 2, 4. Pick the knee up and then snap it out. Lead with the heel. Torso positioning pretty much stays the same. I'm just trying to lift that with the hip flexor. And I think I've probably done about 8 each side. That's what I'm looking for, 8 each side. Now I'm going to do a side kick. This one I'm going to lean away from the up leg, and then I'm going to reach the up leg out and strike to the side, leading again with the heel. So I'll kick, 2, 3, 4, kick, 2, 3, 4. Feels really great. Yeah, again, another active balance exercise. Can I transfer my weight efficiently? Can I balance for that moment? Do I have the strength in my hips to go out to the side and fully lift? Probably one more. Good. Okay, next we're going to do a wall headstand. First time we're going to try this. And you're probably going to want to just make sure you fold have a nice space to rest your head on, a nice soft space. There's no use trying to do this on the hardwood. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is approach the wall. Your palms are going to be down about a foot away from the wall, maybe 8 inches away from the wall. And then I'm going to just place my head on the mat. From here, this is a really tricky part. You've got to kick yourself up around until your heels touch the wall behind you. Now just make sure, another precaution, make sure you're not just going against brick or something hard, not drywall would be much preferred here unless you have control already in this motion. But if you've never done this before, it's kind of a leap of faith. This might take some time to get comfortable and used to doing this, but try to be persistent. Practice just trying to kick around and get into this position. It really is, it's a mind trick. But once you get over the mind trick, it's really, you'll be amazed at how it really is simple to do this. And it doesn't take a lot of athleticism. It doesn't take a lot of power to do this at all. You just have to be able to hold your hand and head position strong. Keep your abdominals tight, so don't go limp in your core with your legs. Don't do anything crazy. Just stay strong. Okay, flip. You're going to kick around, and then you're going to stay strong. Stay strong with your positioning. And then there you are. Once you get here now, you're going to hold this position strong, flexing through your legs, flexing your abdominals, pointing your toes. And right now your heels should be the only thing on the wall. 15 seconds there. It feels really good. It's quite a head rush. Next we'll do some standing knee tuck stretches. So I can be up against the wall if I want for balance on this one. But if I can balance without it, that's great too. And I'll just bring one knee up and tuck it in tight to my chest. Stay strong through the down leg. You're going to actively flex this leg as you're holding this stretch. So I certainly don't want to get slouched over and pulling my back into a rounded position. Nice and tall. 15 seconds each. Okay, good. Now let's go into some bent over skier rows. Feet together, hinging at the waist. Shoulder blades relaxed to start. Elbows are soft, but they will not be bending or extending. They'll stay this way as you squeeze and release. Just trying to drive your shoulders back, so like you're doing cross-country skiing. 8 reps. So next we're going to do a little hop in place. A little hop in place. So the most important thing here is that you're doing really good jumping mechanics. So what I'm looking for on the jump is my feet can be underneath my hips. And then I'm going to do a hinge of the hip, reach my arms back, finish with a little knee bend at the bottom, and you can see my bottom position. This is where I'm going to be, really fully bent at the hips, a little bit of bend in the knees, arms reaching back. And then from here, I am going to extend through. I fully extended ankles, knees, hips, shoulders, and I swept the arms through. And then I'm going to land soft. I'm going to absorb the landing back into the bottom. This is what you want to do when you decelerate. You're extended, and then you bend again to receive your own body weight. And you saw how far I jumped on that. Just get off the ground a little bit, okay? So we'll get down nice and low, and then a little hop. And really minimize your ground contact force. Try to control your drop. 8 of those. Standing arm circles. Stand tall, flex through your legs and your abdominals as you circle your arm. Just 8 of those. 3-step agility walking. So I'm going to do this is a lateral move. This is like the most fundamental lateral move that athletes use. But I'll tell you what, it even comes into play in everyday life when you're at the grocery store and you have somebody who's walking this way and you're walking that way and you're like, oh. Well, all you got to do is you got to give them this 3-step. Watch. You go 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So you're just stepping wide, stepping together, and then picking this foot up, and then you're going wide, together, pick up, wide, together, pick up. 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. So we're just going to get this pattern down. Try to drop your body a little bit so you're like soft at the knees, soft at the hips. Because if you're totally upright and trying to do this, you're not going to be as efficient in changing directions as compared to when you're a little bit lower. And I can go even lower than that to get even more of a leg workout. So try that one out. Carioca with high knee walk. This is another 3-step movement, but this time I'm going to do like a crossover step. And I'm going to really lift my knee around just to get this hip mobility here. So I'm going to go cross, 2, 3, cross, 2, 3, cross, 2, 3, cross, 2, 3. Pick that knee up. Your arms are working in opposition of your legs, but they're mirroring your legs. They'll help you change directions. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Again, this is dynamic balance here, folks. Dynamic balance. That's why we're doing it. All right, but now we're going to go down to the mat. We're going to start with some side planks. Now, if you're at the intermediate program, you're going to be doing level 3 or 4 side planks. So at level 3, you're going to be having a split in your feet, and at level 4, you're going to stack your feet. And then you'll just lift your hips up, totally straight body, head back, hips through, and hips up. 15-second holds. Squeezing through the legs. Your inner thighs will be working, your outer thighs will be working, your glutes will be working. You're trying to be as stiff as a board on that one. Laying arch hold with shoulder rotations. Okay, this is strenuous for all levels. So you're going to do an arch hold. So we're going to come up, squeezing the hips to lift the knees, squeezing the shoulder blades and tucking the chin to lift the arms, And then I'm going to swim my arms from behind my back to overhead while I hold this position. And it's a 15-second exercise, so probably about 4 reps if you're going at the same tempo as me. Woo! That feels good. Bicycle crunches are next. We'll do 8 each. So on the bicycle crunch, you know, you're going to straighten one leg out, you're going to bend the other knee in, you're going to crunch your shoulders up, but you want to, so I don't want you cranking your neck around so far like this. No, you don't need to do that. It's just a subtle rotation of the shoulders from the thoracic spine to get the elbow, the opposite elbow close to the knee. So it's going to be right elbow going towards, but not touching the left knee. And then I'll just switch. I can work a pretty quick tempo, but I want to fully extend the knee on every bicycle crunch. I'm going to do next some kneeling hip circles. Kneeling, and then I'm going to maintain a neutral spine, no arching or rounding at the spine while you do this. Keep your hips level while you do this, and then you'll kick back, and then you'll open the hips and circle around to the outside. Full extension of your hip and knee every time before you open up. And then try to open up as wide as you can. Again, not lifting the hip to open, actually using your hip musculature to control that movement. Assisted sit-ups. So try to keep your heels down as much as you can, but it's not, if you have to lift them a little bit, that's okay. Hips down, and I'm going to use an arm action to get momentum into the sit-up. So I'm going to throw my arms, and I can be as aggressive with it as I need to be to get up. And then touch the toes in front. Eight reps. Good. Push-up position hold. Get out of my way, Freddie. Palms down. Legs extended. Flex through the legs strong. Squeeze your abdominals and flex strong through the elbows. Hold just a really tight push-up position for 15 seconds. Side-lying hip circles. Just lie on your side, extend the top leg a little bit. You can point the toe, and then you're going to draw a circle with that top foot. And you want it to be in line with your other leg, so don't bring it forward in front of. You want your legs to remain stacked on top of each other, in other words. Draw precise circles. And about 8 reps each side. Get out of here. Side-lying quick side crunches. Get off me. So I'm gonna, side-lying. So I'm gonna have the knees bent. I can just get in this position with my hands, and then I'm just gonna do a little crunch. I'm not gonna go very far with this one, and that's totally fine. It's just about flexing the outside of your abdominals, getting that little pulse. Both sides. And make sure your spine is not rounding. Don't be in a crunched up position when you do this. Be extended at your spine. Keep your spine extended. And then I'm going to do some bear crawl steps. This will be fun. So All you're going to do here is, you're going to go on all fours. That's the ball of your foot and your palms that are down on the ground. And then you're just going to take a couple steps forward, and then you'll take a couple steps backwards. And there's not a lot technique-wise to really worry about. You'll get the hang of it real quick. And I said about 8 steps each leg is total is all you need to start with. All right. Let's do next some, we'll go into more stretching. These will be some seated hands down behind bridges. And we'll hold this position for 15 seconds. So you'll just press through the palms, squeeze the shoulder blades together, let the head go back, and try to lift the hips as high as you can. Next, we'll do some pike to seals. Let's start in the pike, and we'll go up. Feel that stretch underneath your hamstrings, behind your legs. Tuck up as tight as you can. Press your arms, press your head through your arms. And then from there, you're going to slide, have your shoulders slide in front of your palms. If you can now switch your feet so that the back of your foot is down on the mat, that would be great. And your shoulders are clearly in front of your palms in this position. You're flexing your backside, you're flexing your butt. And then I'll rotate through. And I'll just switch from pike to seal. 8 reps. And that'll be strenuous. Clams. You can lie on your side. Have a little bend in your knees. Have your feet together. And then you're going to lift the top knee off the bottom knee. Keep the feet together. Go as wide as you can while keeping your bottom knee on the ground. Inner thigh workout. Flexing the outside of the hip to stretch the inside of the hip. Laying hamstring stretch with ankle pulses. This should be lying, actually, because we're lying down. And then kick the leg up. Get that stretch on the back of the leg. And then just point and flex the toes. About 15 seconds each. Okay, you're just grabbing up at your calf and getting a little bit of pull of your leg toward your chest. Bretzel. Cross, one leg crossed in front, the other leg crossed behind. And then you may have to start by having your shoulders away from the backside leg at first, but try to work yourself into a more upright position. Start to breathe a little bit more here. Breathe all the way in and exhale all the way out. Yeah, this will really stretch the inner thigh of the back leg. Okay, pigeon stretch is next, so I can keep this foot right where it was, and then I just extend the other leg back. And I can point the back toes so that they're flat on the mat. And this is a dual purpose stretch. It stretches the glutes of my front leg and the hip flexors of my back leg. Now there's a couple different ways to do the pigeon. You can see that I'm staying mostly upright with my torso and I'm keeping my hips square. I can do it where I let my hips drop, but you can see that I'm no longer square. This stretches you in a certain way as well. And then the other thing I can do is let my chest fall down to my front leg. So there's kind of 3 different ways you can do it. 1, 2, and 3. And really just whatever feels good, but it's all good. Child's pose with elbows down. So I have the knees sit back to my heels, and then I'm going to place my elbows down on the mat, cuss my hands behind my head, and then I just sit back into that and try to have this open up here. As I'm sitting my hips back, my elbows are staying in space, and I'm opening that up. Feels amazing. And breathe. Kneeling hip flexor stretch and rotate. I doubled up my mat to make it a little thicker for this one so that it doesn't put so much weight on my kneecap here. But what I'm going to do is shift my weight forward a little bit and feel this stretch on my hip flexor. And you don't want to be right on your kneecap. On this one, you should actually be underneath your kneecap. That's what should be on the ground for this stretch. And it helps if you have the top of your foot down on the mat, as opposed to being like this. That will kind of shift it up onto your kneecap. Try to point it, stay off your kneecap. Arm across deltoid stretch. You can be in any position for this one. I'll do a cross leg version, and I'm just going to sit tall and reach my arm across my body, feeling the stretch on my deltoid muscle here. 15 each side. Lying knee tuck. I'll lie back and just tuck one knee into my chest with the other leg extended. Tuck it nice and tight. Really try to get it in there. Open this up. 15 seconds each side. Big breaths. Okay, good. Now for the last 2 minutes, I'll do a hand and forearm massage. So I want to dig right into my palm here, and I'm just going to squeeze it with my other hand. Now I'll take my fingers and I'll pull on the fingers. I'm trying to get blood flow to my extremities to help my lymphatic system and send all the gunk back to your kidney and your liver. Your liver, if we're talking about the lymphatic system. And I can massage the top of the hand. Yeah, run my thumb along it, press down, manipulate it. Okay, then we can work up to the forearm and just taking any meaty part of the forearm and squishing it around, digging the fingers in there, and then creating this sort of sheer. See what I'm doing? I'm pulling across my body like this and pressing in and pulling across my body. And that's the way to manipulate the fascia to create a therapeutic effect. About a minute each side, and that'll do it. And that'll do it for today. That's intermediate workout number 3. Thanks a lot for participating. Please let me know how it went. Leave me a comment. If you liked it, like the video, subscribe to my channel, and check out my website. Buy one of the programs. All of your help and your support is really appreciated.